Well, hello everyone. TheOntarioGardener here with some extreme pizza buffet automation. So I have a bit of a mock-up here. I'll pull my thing up here. We can follow along. So this is just a mock-up. You have your chairs and whatnot over here that are just kind of in a place. This could be on the other side of a banquette. It doesn't matter where it is. However, these would be in the same room as these, basically. You could have teleporters here. You get the gist here. You could have a wall here. You could have these on the other side of a banquette. I call it a banquette, serving window, whatever you want to call it. But this is some extreme automation. Now, I have an extreme automation video that's probably a couple years old to do all three pizzas. Now, this is what incorporating everything. Double buffet tables, which I'm going to show you in a minute why that's needed. Also have your dish cleaning station here. You have your teleporter here going into this one. You have various teleporters here that teleports your plates down to here, as you can see. And I'm just going to let this run for now, and we can explain it as we go. Okay, so up at the top here, you have your plates doing its thing. This is why you need a big stack of plates. I have 4 extra stacks and you have these here because this all has to get kind of preloaded in the sense the way that it's working. These will preload before this one preloads. You'll see how they're coming across. They jump from this one to here, this one to here, and then they go over to this one here. Of course, now we go back into our pizzas. This you've all seen a million times before. You have your, up the top here, top right, you have your dough going through your mixer, going into this counter. Now, this could be a freezer. It doesn't matter what this is. Then you have to have your smart grabber that only is pulling uncooked cheese pizzas. That's how you always start. Every pizza starts with the dough, the cheese, and the sauce. Every one. And you have your smart grabber right here pulling that out here. You have your conveyor mixers rapid. I have a rapid mixer for the sauce. Is it necessary? Probably not, but I like using it because you're always going to have a good flow of sauce here. You're not going to have to wait around for the conveyor mixer. And plus, if you put this down here, you could easily squeeze this into it. I mean, this is a big kind of setup here, but you could easily put this down here. Doesn't really matter, honestly, or you could put other things here as well. You could have a better conveyor system or a different conveyor system to allow more pizzas here. Again, you could have a freezer here to keep pizzas in stock. Is it necessary? I don't think so. Then you go in here. Here's where the magic starts to happen. When you're putting your onions here, you're putting your mushrooms up here, chopped, of course. Going into your smart hobs, or safety hobs, safety hobs. And they're offset, and they have to be offset to allow this setup here. Because what we have here is you have auto platers plating off of a frozen prep station. And you have to allow space here for the teleporters. Okay, makes sense? Makes sense. Now, you say this is number one, this is number one. These plates are being teleported to here. These are being teleported to here. Same difference, right? You guys get that. And then here's where you have your auto platers, and you could have this going to one banquet seat or one buffet table. But if we start calling a bunch of people, I'm going to show you exactly why you should have 2 per item when it comes to this. So we're just going to call a bunch. We are in the banquet setting or the banquet card, which is basically the same thing as instant ordering, and you're going to see why that's pretty much needed. Because if you're using a banquet map, you're fine. Otherwise, you can get away with standing out here and taking their orders one by one by one, and that's perfectly fine as well. So as you can see, the reason why we have 2 banquettes here, I call them banquettes, 2 buffet tables, is because as soon as one is taken, it'll send the other customers back, right? And then you could end up running out of time. Basically, that's how it works. Let's just call a bunch to show this really in full bore here. Now, the only kind of slowdown you have is, like always, is what? Is your dishes. You have 3 soaking sinks. You really don't need more than 3 because by the time that one finishes, like you won't ever have 4 being run at the same time, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. You could put 4 if you want. Go knock yourself out. 3 is the magic number here because you're always going to have a plate pretty much almost always ready to go. Now, if you have one of those cards that reduces processing times, having a 4th one, you could easily put into this setup to move some of these things around. It would work out great. So as you can see, we're rolling through the customers here. The reason why you have 2 buffet stands, it's obvious why. Because as soon as one gets taken, it's going to send the people home, but if you have 2, it doesn't. And as you can see here, this is why you need so many plates. Because you have so much kind of prep. And as you can see, when we're running full bore here, your bottom 2 pizzas are always going to have more plates because it goes through your teleporters first. If you want to have even more plates, add another stack over here, because these 2 stacks are feeding into the system. They're not being recycled, which also saves on time. But you could easily put another plate stack here or another 2 here and just kind of rig it up with grabbers going into here if you're concerned about that type of thing. One other thing you could probably do here, that if you, depending on the cards you get, if you get cards where the customers are loaded with mess, put down some floor protectors, put down some rugs, it would work out. Again, can you put different tables here? You can. I don't recommend doing simple tablecloths because of how long it takes. You could put metal tables here. If you end up having a lot of side dishes, you could put metal tables here to negate those. Individual dining, you really wouldn't need to have... it wouldn't really make sense to have bar tables because you still have to run this way, and it doesn't really change anything. It doesn't save space because you want to run this way. Now, you can put these into smart grabbers. Anything that is a corner grabber that's straight could be a regular grabber up in here. But you have some key elements here. I'm going to go over these really quickly. Key elements here that you need to have for this to be successful. Obviously, you need to have your teleporter set up. You need to have your auto players, but you need to have here. You see one here, one here, one here. You see my mouse? You need to have smart grabbers here only pulling a plate that has pizza on it. Because if you don't do that, what ends up happening is if your auto player is out of plates, this pizza will flow right on through and you're going to be stuck with a piece of pizza here. Now, you may say, well, what about just putting the plates up here? Well, that doesn't work. You want to have it plated because you have to have things plated. That's how it works. Let's just roll a bunch more through here. See if we can get a bunch in here to really push this. Now, again, if you're calling this much, you could have more tables. Again, you're gonna end up running out of patience. I might have screwed myself there because I have a minute left. But I think we're going to be fine. You see, they're all ready to go. As soon as they sit down, boom, 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 they're taking one, but they're not going back to their seat because if 2 are going up to get one pizza, when one takes it, the other one's going to return to their seat until it's back up there. That's why you want to have 2 of each. 3 of each is overkill. You don't need 3 of each. 2 of each, I would highly recommend. And look at that, we're through a whole nother set of groups coming in here. We're rocking and rolling, guys. So this is pretty epic what I made here. I used some of my old designs for this initial setup, but then the rest is all custom made to get the most out of your buffet tables and your banquets and your whatever you want to call them. So let's get out of practice mode so you guys can check this out one more time. And there you go. Any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. What other automations you want to see or kind of revisited for 2026? I want to do tacos, and I want to do the piecemeal system. I even want to do one with ice cream. So there's a lot of, I call it piecemeal, where you're choosing things as you go. Pizza is just pizza. There's nothing else, so you don't have to mess with that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this crazy automation video, please leave a comment. Let me know how you liked it. Also, hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 12,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Tick the bell so you don't miss any future episodes of my Let's Plays, as well as my extreme automations, or any other video on my channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next automation showcase. Bye.